Yeah, okay, ma'am.
Okay, and it's not that clear.
Oh,
Okay, sure. So I'm just going briefly about the points about Java programming. So because you are trying for learning Java programming, at least you should know some few details about Java. So definitely Java is a very high language, and it was like the programming language. Basically, you can say it's a platform or as a language. So people will ask you what is Java. So you can say it's a language, as well as you can say it's a technology, or it's a platform. Means we can consider in different ways. Java is basically a language, like English is a language, Java is a language. Same way I can say it's a platform. Means it provides you a software on which you can run something, on which you can run some apps. So I can consider it like a platform. So it acts like a platform. Sometimes I can say Java is a technology. So there are so many technologies. So among them, this is also one of the major technologies. So, and this Java technology was developed by James Foster in the year of 19. Minimum information you should know. And Java was actually developed under the foundation of Sun Microsystems initially, but now it has been taken by Oracle Foundation. So it has been changed from Sun Microsystem to Oracle. So James Gosling also used to work for Sun Microsystems, but now when it has changed to Oracle, he is left that actually. He's no more working for Oracle. So James Gosling is the father of Java technology, or Java, along with some other scientists. And what are we going to do with Java language? There are many benefits with Java language, but at least after finishing the technology, what you can develop, what kind of softwares or apps you can develop. So you can simply understand any graphical apps, desktop, which is visually like a calculator is there, anything which is graphically interacted with user, we can develop with that. That means we can develop desktop application, both graphical or non-graphical. So non-graphical, I can say console application. So once we finish learning Java, you can develop any kind of a game. Some small games. Okay, you can go for a Sudoku game or it's a chess game or a snakes and ladder game or any game you can develop with Java technology. Or some graphical apps like registration of a student app, your college app you can. That means the complete college system can be maintained using a Java program. So we can develop both desktop and a basic console based, like where we'll interact with only command prompt, just character user interface. We'll type something, it will give an output in a textual, no graphical system. So these are developed with the libraries which are found as standard editions. For example, the standard editions or the basic editions. To develop a desktop or a console, we need the standard libraries that is called as SE library. And apart from this kind of applications, we can even develop online web applications, which every day we are using. Like you're using a Paytm app, you're using some PhonePe, you're using your banking apps. Everything has come into mobiles, right? So that means those are online. You can run those apps on your laptop, on your desktop, or on your mobiles. But again, there are versions. Libraries will change. If the app is running on mobile, it will be different library. If the app is running on your desktop, it is a different library. But both are online. I'm able to access anything. I'm able to interact with that kind of apps using internet. So those apps are called as web applications, or we can also say it as online applications. So to develop such online applications where I can sit at home and interact with my banking system. I can sit at home and interact with some purchasing, some e-commerce, some Flipkart or something. We can do purchasing on. I can check, okay, now this is EC2 so C2 app has come. So something we are able to check, okay, who is having COVID and all, we can get some information. So all such apps are internet active. So that means these are web applications. That requires a special library called as Enterprise Edition. So we need to download different libraries. So as of now, what we are going to learn in Java is only to develop desktop or console applications using the basic libraries of Java. That is called as standard edition, which is we can download along with the software. But after that, if you have to develop other kind of applications like online or web applications, I need to download other kind of libraries. These are called as enterprise editions. So like Tomcat server, there are other concepts again. Same way, we can go for enterprise editions also. Some more kind of applications like okay, company related, not just a basic banking relation, something huge, something more like more customers, more employees, more completely. So I can develop such kind of company related. Okay, salaries, payments, huge amount of data. So such kind of applications can be developed with one more. That means library is same, but that applications are majorly called as enterprise. The company related applications, not a normal user related. For Paytm is a customer related, but there are some company related. You cannot access them. Some company, like a Deloitte company has some app. Only those company people can log in and check that information. So some of informations can be developed with this kind of applications called as enterprise applications. For that also some special libraries are there. So in enterprise only two levels are categorized. One is a basic online, another is enterprise. So simply just to have a word about that, I'm just in the EGS. And here I'm just giving a word of servlets or JSPs. So just basic. These are the technologies I need to develop normal online applications. This is the technology we need to develop enterprise applications. And the last one is the mobile apps. So mobile app is nothing but an app which you can directly download on your mobile. A small version, smaller version of any app. Say ICICI Bank app you can open on a desktop or a laptop. That is a different version. That is an online version. But the same app when you download for mobile, that's a different vision. That's like a smaller version of the same app. So smaller version means smaller memory. Everything is smaller in that. So that means that kind of applications we can develop using a special library called as micro libraries. This is also called as micro edition. These are called as enterprise editions. And these are called as, this is also enterprise, and this is called as standard editions. So Java has three types of libraries: standard edition, enterprise edition, and micro edition. So we can develop some games which you generally develop a lot of people develop games with Java. So that you can install in your application. And just to overview, what are the main features of Java? It's a simple language, no complications in this because you don't have the complicated concept of pointers. And there are some more complicated topics in C++, like operator overloading. So many confusing or complicated topics they have removed from this language, which is generally associated with pointers topic. So those all topics they have removed to make the Java language very simple, very user friendly. Second thing, object oriented. We can develop an app just focusing on a simple object. We take a real-time object, a customer. Now write coding for a customer. What is a customer information? What is a customer action on the Flipkart? He will register, he will log in, he will add products, he will view products, he will remove products. Everything is about an object. Means one, we'll just try to, that means write a program focusing only on an object. So for that, we say Java is a purely object-oriented programming. And in that object-oriented programming language, not only that object, we have some special features like OOPS principles. Object with enhancement, some special features are added. So without these special features, object will be like basic, like a very static, very basic object, low level object. I want to make some dynamic features. I want to make the object very, we say like enhanced features. I want to add it. So to enhance an object, we have some more topics we have to include in an object. Then only your object is dynamic. Otherwise, it's like a very basic static object. So for dynamism or for enhancement of features of an object, we have to use principles like OOPS principles. Right? So in object orientation, we will deal with classes, objects, inheritance, polymorphism, abstraction, encapsulation. This is minimum we have to use whenever you develop an application in Java language. We will definitely use object orientation. Without that, we'll never write any coding. Right? It's mandatory. It's must to use object orientation. And we will use that. Let's plan. To develop any app on any operating system using Java language. And when you try to run it, it will run in the same way in any other system or any other operating system. So it's like it doesn't affect based on the platform. You develop anywhere and run on any platform. It is platform. And when you develop any application, any project using Java, it gives more security. So again, the reasons are same concept because in Java language, no pointers are used. So it is more secure because of that reason. Second, in Java softwares, we have a special system called as sandbox, virtual machine sandbox in a software. Due to that sandbox only, security checks are done. Do we have a virus code? So no virus code can run on your Java system. By this, your operating system is safer. So that is providing security to your Java applications. And anyhow, we learn that we use some softwares to run a Java program like Java coding is loaded to a program called as class loader. Java has to be run through by checking of the security. And there is a security issue checking called as security management. So these all points we'll discuss again in the middle of the classes. Will provide more security when you develop a Java program, any application with Java. So simple as of now. In the first day we can't by heart so many things, we can't understand everything point to point. Just a word for this Java applications are providing more security. Because of that reason, till today Java is used. So we have so many new languages, Python has come or .NET has come. From so many years, Java is still today. See, other countries like US, still today they are using Java 6 version to develop any app which should provide more security. Very company related apps, they will develop with Java. So other languages does not provide this much security. So one of the most important reason for choosing Java is security. Other languages will not provide this much security because Java language itself will provide the security. Okay? And next is Java programs are strong. To develop any app, it cannot just like it will not hang in the middle, it will not break in the middle because of some concepts. We have to use them. It will not use more space. Like it has some benefits. So in Java, we have some special features like memory management. Just think that one person comes into your room, he sits there. When he leaves, that space what he has used up, it should be clean. The chair should be removed. Otherwise, if everybody comes, take a chair and sit, after 100 people come into a room, 100 chairs will come. So if everybody leaves, but still that 100 chairs are lying, that means unnecessarily space is occupied. Whenever a person comes in and goes out, they should remove that chair. Yes, whatever space they are using, they should remove automatically. That means memory management. Just think like a media player you're playing and you played a song on it. You just played one song. You loaded a song and played it. After that, you played a second and a third and a fourth. What happens to the previously played songs? Will be there on the software or will they be removed? Like in history, somewhere they are saved actually. So in Java, we can maintain them. Once the task is over, you have listened to a song, I can remove it immediately, automatically. So when work is done with the information, it will be automatically removed. This is the main important feature of Java is memory management. No space will be, no unused data will be there on the system. If there is something lying unused, if something is not used by anyone, Java will automatically remove it from the system. Just think that there is a table and there are two markers on. I can only use one, other is simply lying idle. So Java software will keep a track of it. If there is something lying on the system unused, it will immediately remove. So that is called as automatic memory management. So this feature is not there in C language or C++. Both are object oriented. Sorry, C++ is an object oriented or C sharp. So we have this feature added automatic memory management in Java. In C++, we have to do it. We have to manually remove the data which is unused. And because of lack of pointers, we have no security issues. So definitely apps are very much reliable, very much strong. And automatic garbage collection. That is only called as memory management. Means whatever is not required, we should remove it. I should only keep those things which I am in need of, which are not required, we should immediately dispose them out from the system. Because for everything, data is required. See, what is that concept is? Like if I'm just writing some mobile numbers, this is one person, second person, third person, I'm using a space. So what happens? I call the first person, my task is over. I should immediately remove that mobile number. I should not save it in my mobile. If I save that, my memory is consumed. So whenever some work is over with the data should be cleaned immediately. Otherwise, after some time, we'll have a shortage of it unknowingly. Just think in a real terms. So memory is a big issue because if app consumes more memory, definitely nobody can purchase that much. You're loading mobile the images in your apps right now, your mobiles. How much memory do you consume? Every day some hundreds of pics you're taking. There's no space left. 16 GB is also not sufficient. Means such things cannot be done. So you have to delete that space memory. But in Java, we can keep a track of unused things and delete it off. We can do it. And the only important thing in Java to make a program strong is exception. If there is an error, so can you say that without errors, can you make, without mistakes, can your life will run smoothly? We are living so smoothly from so many years. Suddenly, COVID has come. Everything got disturbed. So, can I solve this problem and move on? It took some time. That means this is a problem. Can we solve it or not? This is the concept of exception handling. If there is a problem which you are aware of, we can take precautions. This COVID problem is not an exception. It's not a simple problem. It's a major problem. I'm not able to tackle and move on. So, like something like it's raining, I can tackle it. I can take an umbrella. I can do something. Okay, petrol is over. I can tackle it. I can take precautionary steps for such smaller problems. Earthquake, there's a big problem. Can you tackle it? You are not doing that, it is going to come. You cannot take any precautions. So, minor problems in an app can be resolved with precautionary steps. So, those are called as exception handling. There's a big chapter about exception handling where we learn different types of exceptions, right? So that app becomes more strong. And architecture mode means if you write a program with int number is equal to 5, the same program will run on 32-bit system, 64-bit system, no changes. So I don't have to change my data types. My program's data types will be compatible with all types of architectural systems, whether it's a 32-bit system or 60. My program should not change according to the operating system. So your data types are fixed. You don't have to change them. Just think like if it's a C language. In C language, we have an int. In C, int takes 2 bytes for each system for Windows. But for Linux, it takes 4 bytes. So it's not confirmed. It's not that fixed that it's only 2 bytes all the time. So if you are taking Turbo C, it is 2 bytes. If you're taking GCC, compiler is taking 4 bytes. We have difference in the data types, memory about the data types. But we don't have to think. It will not read it. So whenever I say int, it's always 4 bytes. Always. Irrespective of the operating systems or even it is your system types. Is it 64 or 30? If I say a short, it is always of 2 bytes. No changes. So it's like a reliable architecture. So we don't have to worry about changing the size required. Like if I develop the software, install how much memory is required. If it is 10 MB, always it will be 10. It cannot increase or change according to the operating system, right? So this is fixed data. Portable, that means you develop somewhere and you can run on any kind of operating system. This is giving you flexibility. I can write my Java program in XP, share that program to somebody else who is working on my system. He can also run that. You're typing in XP, you are sharing the code to some Linux person or Mac person, he will also execute the program. Means I can share, I can run the program on any operating system. Write somewhere, run somewhere. Right? So that is portable. And it's a high performance speed to execute. A program is faster. Actually, Java is slow. Actually, telling it's slower than C and C++. But there is a software in Java called as JIT compiler. This is the only reason due to which it has given a high performance. Otherwise, Java compiler or Java execution, the actual execution software, will make it very slow actually. It is very slow in execution. To make it faster, they have added a component on it called as JIT compiler. So we'll learn about this later. I will not discuss this today. The terminologies of software or the architecture of Java. I'll discuss after 2 to 3 classes. Right? And next is distributed. The apps. That means company related apps, any bigger apps we can download, we can run it on any system. So it can be just distributed. That means you can download in a jar format, your zip format, and install it. So there are some softwares or libraries called as RMI and EJB. Due to that, it helps in distribution of an application worldwide, anywhere through internet. So we can go for RMI or EJB. Anyhow, we'll not be learning this topic. This is an enterprise edition, not a core Java topic. But this feature means Java programs or Java apps can be distributed. These applications can be downloaded through any system using an internet. For that, we need to install some libraries like RMI and EJB. And the major important feature is multi-threading, like multitasking. I want to do more executions. Just think that I want to I want to download many softwares at a time. Our browser can do that. Your browser, in one browser only you can open, just tabs will open side by side. And can you download multiple things from that same browser at a time simultaneously? After 5 minutes, when you see all the downloads are complete. So that concept is called as multi-threading. Means simultaneously doing more operations at a time so that you can save the processor. So this is also a big chapter where we'll do a lot of things. And this multi-threading concepts will basically use in games like two people are playing or two car racing. Two cars are running simultaneously. Means both are running. So how can you run two things at a time? Generally, when you write any program, you can run only one function at a time. All function run will exist. After completion of that only we are able to do something else. We can't do all at once. So to achieve that multitasking, we have to implement or use a concept called as multitasking, which is a very easy concept in Java. And by using that, you can do a lot of things like you can develop a digital clock where the time is running and behind the screen there is a stopwatch which is running. Means can you see the same clock? Means same object clock is showing time is running. It's showing the clock is running and you can start a stopwatch also. So that means how many things are executing in the same object? There's one clock and the same clock we can see the time is running. It's like printing the time. Okay. 8:30, 8:31, 8:30. This is continuously running. Seconds are running. But at the same time, in the same clock, we can start a stopwatch also. So simultaneously, when I see two things are running, we are able to do that. This can be achieved only using the concept of multi-threading. Just as I said, one browser. I will open one browser and we can download multiple songs at a time. Right? So this is like I don't have to do one law download. After that, I don't have to start another download. I don't have to waste that much time. If one song download takes 2 minutes, I should not finish the 2 minutes and then start another download. I can start all the 5 songs at one time. So within 2 minutes, all the 5 songs would have been downloaded because your single processor time is important. Processor speed is important. See, multiple processors is a different concept. In your operating system, we have only one processor. Single processor is doing so many processes. See, so many things are running in your system. In the web, that means your Explorer is running, the WebEx is running, Windows, Android, Notepad is running. You can play a song with me. So many things are running. So this is also multitasking. So one of the multitasking concept is achieved through your job and dynamic. Basically, Java is a dynamic language. That means if you install a Java software, it can even run some small programs, lot of programs developed in other languages. So if there is a software, it will not be purely developed in Java sometimes. Sometimes some part of it is acting like a plugin. Somebody has developed a small calculator in C language. They can attach it. Some app they can plug into the Java app. Means some other language app also can be integrated with Java. And Java software can even process C or C++ because in Java we have libraries which can support other language executions also, compilation and execution. So those languages are called as native languages. Other than Java, it can even compile and execute languages like C++. So because of that, I can say it's dynamic. It's not like only Java it will run. It can even go for other language libraries execution. So that makes it a dynamic. And why are you? We will use this word very frequently in Java language because I said it's not fixed. It's a like dynamic. Dynamic means automatic memory management, automatic garbage collection. So a lot of things will happen automatically. Changes of one data type to another. You will see internally when we start learning Java, you'll understand. This is the very frequent word we use in Java. Dynamic key, dynamic code. So till now, any doubts about the theoretical topic about Java? Because if somebody asks, you should know. These are it's like mandatory. You should know who is the founder, what are the important information about Java, why you are learning Java, what are the benefits of Java. Is there any confusion? Anyone? You can immediately ask whenever you got out. That's fine. Yeah, ask. No issues. Any doubts as of now? This is just a theory. This is just a theory, just a knowledge. You can browse Google also for John, Harshita. Harshita joined late, but again I'll take a separate session for you tomorrow.
Yes, ma'am.
So are you able to understand? It's just a theory. We didn't start practicals or anything today.
Yes, ma'am. I am able to understand, ma'am.
Yeah, fine. So what about the others? John, clear? Any doubts as of now?
No doubts, ma'am. All are clear.
Okay. Anybody, you have a doubt, you can immediately stop me and ask. Okay? Now, next there are some more topics. I don't want to discuss these topics on the first day. Many people teach on the first day, but you will find it very difficult to digest it. Okay, what is JVM? What is JD? There are a lot of things, details about this we have to understand. So I will discuss these topics later, just for an overview. What are the keywords we have to learn? What are the words, terminologies we have to learn? Is JVM. JVM is nothing but your Java software to run the Java program. JDK. JDK is nothing but the complete set of tools. Everything is present in this JDK. JDK is nothing but the folder where we find everything required for the Java. Java software, Java libraries, everything. JRE, Java Runtime Environment. Means it is the minimum requirement for you to develop an app. Means I need a compiler, I need a executable software called JVM, I need the libraries, I need some other file support, everything. So the total environment is called as JVM. This topics again I'll take in detail one more day. Just for an overview, JVM is Java Virtual Machine. This is the software where we run a Java program. Execution like Turbo C, GCC compiler are used for compilation and execution. So same way, Java programs need two softwares actually. One is Java C, that is compiler, another is JVM, that is called as an interpreter. So execution software, the software which will run the Java. Next is Java Development Kit, JDK, a tool which will help you to what do you say, compile and everything. Here we'll find we have to install like this software, okay, where we'll find almost everything. Everything is inside this folder, JDK, development kit. And JRE is more a term we can say simply it's like a library, compiler, JVM, almost a runtime environment. If you want to run a Java program, I must run Java environment. I need this environment. Without this, I cannot run a Java program. And there's a compiler, as I discussed, Java programs executions or compilations are very slow. So to make it faster, they added a component called as JIT compiler inside the Java software. So along with this only, Java will become little faster. Otherwise, it's very, very slow. Right? Next is jar. These are terminologies. I'm taking one more session completely only for the terminologies. This is Java archive file. Yeah. It's just like a simple example. It's like zip file, compress file, WAR file. When you compress a folder, the 100 classes or 100 files, you want to compress it just to reduce the memory. So we call as compressed file in Java is called as jar, Java archive. So same way, online web archive file. When you want to compress some files and transport it on the internet, download or anything in the internet should work. So such compressed files, internet oriented files are called as WAR files. And next thing is path and class path. So these two topics we need actually while installation. Right? I discussed. So these are some topics we'll have a complete session. And if somebody asks you how many keywords are there in C language, you have a list of 32 keywords in C language. Keywords means the words used, which are words of the Java language used to develop a program. Without these words, I cannot write a Java program. So those basic words required to develop a Java program, number of keywords are 51. But all 51 we are not using. Out of this 51, 2 are not being currently used, like const and goto. So const is like in C language, makes it fixed. Const int a is equal to 10. Now it doesn't change its value. It becomes fixed value. So that fixed keyword, the keyword which will make the variable as a constant, is removed from the Java. Because in this place we have another keyword. I'll just teach you a little bit. Const is replaced by a keyword called final value. This is a keyword which is replaced const. And there is one more keyword in C language, goto. To jump the control of the program, I can jump from one part to another by just using the goto keyword in C language. So they remove this topic because it's not preferable. By doing that, complications arises in the program. Because I started in execution, I was in line 1, I jumped to line 20. From 20 again came to third to 15. It's not a clear execution. You can't know the program execution with this concept. Confusion. So they have removed this topic. These keywords are not currently used. And among these, there are three special words in Java. Those are called as reserved words. These are not used for any like or data type. Like keywords means what right now? We have a word like int. What is the meaning of int? There's a special meaning. It's like a data type referring to an integer. So if I said cat, there is a key meaning to it. There is a meaning to it. So if I say fur, there is a meaning. So these words are having some concept behind. So I should use only for that purpose. Int for only integer variables. For using for a loop, if is for a condition. So we have some keywords only for a specific purpose. So those are called as keywords, no other purpose. But there are some special keywords in Java like true. You can understand that if you have done programming in C language, we get a result as 1. That means true. So instead of 1 and 0 in Java, they have introduced for 1, they have introduced a keyword called true. And for 0, 2 more than 3, answer is false. 2 is not more than 3. So your answer will be false there. So instead of 0, we are using the keyword false. So this your results of a comparison, that means your comparison operators. Comparisons will result either true or false, but not 0 or 1. I'll tell you the reason why they have converted this. Because 0 and 1 are basically numeric types, numbers. And when you look at a number, number is an integer. And when you talk about an integer, it will use some 2 bytes or 4 bytes according to the language. But to just store a number called 0 or a number called 1, I don't need 2 bytes or 4 bytes. I just need one bit of the one bit, not even bytes, not even one byte. So to just unnecessarily wasting the memory, just to say two less than 3, true or a false, which is generally we used to use as zeros and ones. Any true and a false conditions we used to get 0 and 1 previously. To avoid that wastage of memory, they have introduced a new data called as Boolean integer, which will give us values like true or false. Its answers are two only, true or false. 1 for true, 0 for false. So this is a new data type in Java, whose values are true. And there is one more keyword here, null. These are reserved for values, data. So I can say that this is the data type. The result is equal to less than 3. So this answer, if I try to print this result later, your answer would be right now, but not 1. So we get a ratio of like 2. So this is a data actually. Same way, we use this keyword also later for data, something when we don't have any information, like something like this. I'll discuss this later in the class. So these three keywords are actually reserved for some special kind of data, like true or false, or some data which is not available. Whenever some data is missing, we'll use a keyword here, none. No data means none. Wrong data means the true data means condition is true means true. Condition gives a false answer means false. So these are representing some results, some data. And I'll just show because when we start with the programming, but before programming, at least we should know how to install a software. So to install a Java software, first I should know your system type. Is your system 32 bits or 64? Because we have to download that software. So for that you can just check your system properties actually. You go to your system and just check your computer properties. You can see your it's a basic Windows version, but what is important here is it 64-bit Windows or 32-bit? So here we understood that your operating system is Windows 64 operating system. So right now we can just, once we know the operating system type, now we can start downloading the Java software, which is called as JDK basic, Java development. So we can download a suitable software from the Oracle's publishing. But I directly give you the site where you can do it. So if you can open any kind of a browser, it will take you to the video directly, the download. Even if you don't go in this manner, you will get it actually. So here now we can understand the Java standard edition because we are not going for enterprise editions. Core Java programs can be developed only using a serial development standard development kit JDK Java development kit JDK. But which version of JDK Java I am installing right now is 8 version. So there are different versions starting from one version. Now currently 14th versions, but we don't have to download that version at all because still companies are using 6, 7 and 8 only. They have not yet introduced 9. It's like advanced topics. This is the chapters. First I have to finish these chapters. Then only we can go for the advanced topics. So nobody are using those advanced topics. It's just released. Every 5, 6 months one version is released with new topics. So soon we cannot learn so many new topics. We are not even using the old topics. Suddenly new version arises. Only very high-end developers only can learn those and just start using them in a project actually. Because you can imagine if I have to develop a project, thousands of employees will be there in the company. But if they learn Java 6 version till now, now suddenly can they start developing a project in 14 version? They have to learn the concepts. No, this will take time. And every employee cannot learn so soon. So they cannot make them learn faster and develop it happen. This new version. New version has a lot of new concepts, but I can't use it because learning is a process which will take long. And changes also cannot be done because if I do changes in the library, whole app gets disturbed. Whole app will get disturbed because already people are using one version and it will face problem. So we should not do that actually. No? So currently this is enough. For us to go for 8 version is enough. If at all you want, you can go for 9. But I am not teaching 9 version. So I am teaching first 6 version, then little bit topics, all the topics of 7. 8 is a big concept we can't teach, but some important topics I'll teach. So here we check for your system. So my system is Windows 64, but I can just start downloading this. And we have to register in Oracle actually. So Oracle site will ask for registration. You can do the registration first. After that, it's a free site only. And after registration, you can log in and start downloading. Otherwise, I'll send the software to you. No issues. So I've already downloaded. So I'll just show you the program. Or else I'll give the software in the group itself. So already I have downloaded this software. This is the JDK 8.2.5 Windows 64. So it's already there. So once you download it, you can just double click on installation. It's already installed. So I will not install completely. And just say yes. And after that we go for next and the installation steps. It will ask you to just click on next Windows. So you can choose. You don't have to do anything. You have to just click on next and it keeps on following to the next step. But since it is there in my system, I cannot show right now. Otherwise, I'll send as a video the installation step. So you just have to click on next. Because I have some version of the 8 point something, so it is installing new version. So it will just take only 1 to 2 minutes. So all of you have Windows or any Mac system or any other system. Mac means again it is steps will be given. Are you all having Windows operating?
Yes, ma'am.
Then everybody can follow the same steps. Okay, so this just you follow the steps anyhow. So you just click on next, next, and it will complete. This is the first step of installation is download. So first is check your operating system. Is it 64 or 32-bit? And download from the given link. Already I passed the link. Even if the link is not given, you can directly go to Google and type that. And you can just directly type there as whatever version you want to download. So I just want to download whichever version, you can type that. So it will directly forward to the same site, Oracle site itself. And the same page will open directly. So whether you go for the link or directly type in Google and you check your system and download the same software. Download it and install it by just clicking install. So it's downloaded. And then install basically by default we choose the D drive. So we install in the same drive because this is the only drive that we want to install all these. And once we have done this, now we have to do important step called as setting the location of the softwares. That is called as setting the path. So I told just two concepts called path variable. So like your Java softwares, when you see the installation, after the installation is completed, you can go to your C drive in programs files. You'll get a folder called as Java. So once you open this folder, you'll find you can install all versions also. It won't stop because now already I had the 1.8.73 previously. Now I just downloaded latest version 251 version. So it is installing the new version also. So you don't have to install so many slight modification of versions. One version is enough for you because updation will be done every day. So once you install this, any of the JDK, don't go for the GRE, go for the JDK folders. Now inside the JDK, you'll find a folder called as bin. Just open this and see. You'll find lot of applications, lot of softwares. These are all applications or exe files. So let applet viewer, software to run an applet program. Java C compiler, Java compiler to compile a Java program. Java means JVM. JVM is an interpreter. Like a compiler, another software is interpreter. So this is the software we will use to run a Java program. Execution means JVM. Compilation means compiler. So like this we have a lot of other softwares. But minimum what we need is a compiler. Because when we write the program in Java language, we need to first compile. So for compilation, we need a compiler. Next is once the compilation is successful, we have to run the program. But we cannot directly run it. We need another software called as JVM. This is only called as java.exe. So this software. So these two are found inside which folder? In your Java, in your JDK. JDK is development kit. In this JDK, we have a bin folder. So all these executable tools are found in the bin. So copy this path. So copy this location of the Java or the compilers. And what we have to do is we have to save the location. Save the location of these softwares into your system properties. I'll go to my PC settings, system settings, and that will find the environment variable. In that, we have to set the systems variables called path. Means your operating system should know the whereabouts of the software. Where is it installed, the path? Because we are downloading it, it's a new software. It wasn't there during the OS installation. Now OS should know the location of Java compiler and the JVM. So this path You open the path, lot of variables are there, lot of paths are there. Open a new path and just share the location of the, it's already there, but if it's not there in the system, copy the path. Means the location of the compiler or JVM or whatever softwares we need for Java compilation and execution. We have to save it here and say okay, okay, and come 3 times. So this is setting the compiler or the JVM path, which can be recognized by your operating system. So this path is like this is set the Java software's path in your system's operating system's path variable. Now this can be done in two ways. I have shown you the permanent way. One is temporary. If you want to temporarily run a compiler, use a compiler. So for that, we can just go to the command prompt and type set path and give the whole path. Now open the command prompt and directly you can just say set path is equal to copy the code and just press it. Now that means your DOS command, your operating system DOS system knows the location of Java compiler which is in this location. Now we can call those softwares, run those softwares on your DOS system. If I don't do this setting the path, setting the location of the softwares, Java softwares in your command prompt, it will not recognize it. It won't understand what is the meaning of Java, what is the meaning of compiler, or what is the meaning of applet view, whatever software is in a system. No, it's recognizing it. It's not saying that it's not recognized. It is finding the position. So if you type on command prompt set DOS path to the location of, we'll copy this. It's now on this command prompt you can run Java command on this command prompt. But if once you close, it is lost. Again, if you want to use a compiler, you're opening a new command. Again, on that, you will not be able to find it later. Once again, you can't use it. So, every time when you have to use a compiler, you have to again go for a set path. Set path, its location should be set. And then only we can use a compiler after that. Otherwise, it won't be recognized in all the commands. Any command. So that's a temporary setting for a current session. But if you want to do it permanently, you should not set again and again. So that we want to do it permanently. So for that, we have to go for system properties. As I told just now, in your system, in your PC, right click, properties, advanced system settings. In that, we have the advanced one. In that, environment variables. And in that, we'll find the system variables. In the system, we have to search for a variable called so in that we can just create a new path and just paste it here. And just so once you do that, now we can start using the Java compiler from Java. So did you understand? Like we have to install the software in the first step. JDK any version, some 8 version or 9 version after download. This is the first. Second step would be set the system path to the location of the Java tools, exe files, or we say files where we say like compiler or J, or we say interpreter. So I need to save the path in the system's path view. So once we do that, now we can start using the compiler for the Java program compilation and JVM or the interpreter. Interpreter for the Java program execution on the command. So to check it, you just open the command prompt and type whether it's installed or not, Java C or Java. You'll understand whether it's there in your system. So if you have set the path only, we'll get this information. Right? Once you do that, you can check. Now you can just simply write a Java program. Simple Java program to save and save the file with .java extension. So you can simply say, okay, hello.java or anything you can give it in some drive. You can do it. So if you have saved this program in the D drive or some folder called as practice folder, and the name of the file is demo.java. We'll write the program. So once you have written the Java program inside that, now we have to go for compilation. So for compilation, we have to go to the command compile D because we have to go to the D drive and press enter. So you can just type this and go for it. Once we have moved to the D drive, now we can go for a compilation. Okay. So if it is in some other folder, like this is step by step, I'll show it anyhow. So that means for compilation, we have to type basically compiler and the file name. The file name is demo.java. So I will run a compiler on the DOS system and pass the file to the Java file. So demo.java. So once it is done, it's compiled successfully. So if it is compiled successfully, we can go for an execution. So for executing a Java program, we have to use a software called as JVM, whose name is Java in this system. In your software, its name is java.exe. So call the software, just say it's a class name, not full extensions. So you want to run your demo program. So by this, we'll see the So those who are new also, I will just show you because yesterday we had a demo where I taught you a basic program just to share, so say hello. So I'll just take that once again. To type any Java program, you have many kinds of editors. We can use that. Simplest is Notepad. Otherwise, we have more software. I'll discuss about that. So like NetBeans and Eclipse, we have other editors also. But I can prefer this Notepad initially while learning. Till the middle of the learning, we use Notepad. And here my program name is. So in Java, we will write any program inside a class. So class. I'll teach you why we are using class also. I'm just showing the basic structure of a Java program. So every program should start with a class. Give some name to the program. And Inside that, opening, closing braces. Means this whole thing is one program. And in every program for execution, we should have minimum a method or less main. The function like in C language we use main function here also. Everything is we have to write some extra. So these all things are explained again. But as of now, it is blindly and the same way for every Java program, a class, inside a class, we have to write a main function. Inside the main function, we should write the code, whatever we want to do. Now to print header on the screen, we use the standard statement. For every language, we have a code like printf in C. So in Java, we will use system.out.print. Here we can write whatever in the language. So this is the basic structure. So once we have written the program, I can save it anywhere in the system. Let me save it in some drive. I will not directly put it in the D drive. I'll go to some drive. So it's an E drive. In E drive, there is a code Java 18 folder. There's a folder. In that, I'm just opening one more folder called as day1. Inside that folder, I'm saving this file whose name is, we are keeping the same as program. So we wrote the program name as, the program is class. So class name is demo. So I will just type demo.java. And you can see the location E drive CRTV 18 folder inside the day1. So I'm just saving with an extension of Java. So this is my simple Java program. So this is every program will have this state public static void with string paths or character. And every code we have to write it inside a main. As of now, we can't write any print statement in the class. We can't. And once we have saved, I'm just closing. I'm just trying to close everything here. Now what I have to do next? Now we have to go for compilation. For compilation, I need to run a compiler on the command line. So for compilation or execution of a Java program, we use DOS command. So here, now is my program available in this file? My program was saved in another location. So what was the drive? Is it C drive or some other drive? So was it C drive? Did I save it in C drive or some other drive? I just showed you the path also just now. It was in E drive. In this drive, there's one more folder. In that, there's one more folder. We will find our program, Java program here. So my path is something different. It is not found in this path. So I need to change my path to E drive first. So just type E colon and press enter. That means now path is changed. It was previously to C drive, now it is pointing to E drive. My type program is not in this location anymore. It is inside a folder. So for that, type a DOS command cd, change the folder, change the directory to a directory called as crjv underscore 18. I just have to crjv underscore 18. You can mention. Again, there is one more folder. I have to go inside that. You can do this one. Or else, just type the directory, the drive name, the drive. Now we can type the whole path at a time. We are in the crjv underscore 18 slash. This is the next folder name, the directory directories. This is the second. Now, if you want to check the files inside this, there is a DOS command called dir, directory list. So when I type the dir, I got a volume list complete details in which there is a file called as demo.java, introduction.txt. There are some files, but I am interested in which file? Demo.java. So we can start compiling. Now we can call compiler. Because my file is available in this path, I can call a compiler whose path is already set. I want to call the compiler. I need to compile which file? The file name is demo.java. So it's compiled. Now let me check the directory again. Previously we had only demo.java, but now we have demo.java and one more additional class called, this is the converted somewhat machine code, Java machine code. I can simply say as next level of Java code. So for that, let me just type. That means first we had a dot like demo.java. After compilation, we are compiling. It is converted to demo.class, which is called as Java bytecode. Now we have to go for interpretation. Means execution. Simply say execution. Or we say we are using on a JVM. So here line by line execution solution, but not an exe file, not a single exe file. You will not get an exe file like C language. You take a C language and compile a program and execute it once, it will immediately give an exe file, which you can run at a time later. But here no exe file. Whenever we have to run on the JVM step by step on the will. Right? So here we have to take a Java file, compile the file using the compiler. On compilation, it will convert the Java to dot class, which is a next level of the code. So this is Java source code. This is Java bytecode. Now we have to run this bytecode on the JVM. To do that, we have to type Java. Initially we type Java C and the file name was demo.java. So this is compilation. Compilation command. But for execution, this is for execution. So we are calling JVM and giving which file to it? Demo. Demo is a bytecode library. I don't have to give any extension here. We should not type anything here. Simply just type. That's it. So let me show it again. And the command prompt. We have to first compile. See, even if I delete this dot class file, the location, I'll try to delete the dot class. So there is a Java file, there is a compiled class file. I'm deleting this file. So now I have only Java. Now let me go to the command prompt and call the compiler Java C. Is the font visible to you or shall I increase the font? Is the font okay for all of you? Java C. Once you do that, you can go to the folder and check default automatically to bytecode Java. Now we have to run this file. I mean, full use of this file. We can even delete it, but we will try to do it because that is our goal. Now to run the bytecode, use a software Java and use a whatever we have written the program inside the function. Is that clear? The execution steps of a Java program. All of you, are you clear with the concept? Till here? Now let me write a simple program to find the date of a vector. See, all of you have selected knowledge, that's the reason I'm teaching this example. Otherwise, we'll start from tomorrow the data types and the operators and the conditional construct tomorrow. So today, just because all of you have an idea of the some data, like if I want to do some area calculation, so we need some data now, something else. This is a C language coding level, no changes. I'm just writing the code first. So I think all of you know this part. In these 4 or 5 lines, you can understand or any confusion with this, I didn't write the whole code. I'm just writing the actual code. If somebody tells you to write a program to find inverter activity, first we'll write the logic. Later we'll see where I have to write this, how to put it. So till here, anyone of you have a doubt or everything is clear? We'll discuss this concept again, just for a basic example with some variables. Length integer, width is integer, area is integer. So I took a data type called initialize with two values. Now I wrote the formula for area as length. This is it. Now after that we have to print the area. So for printing in area in Java language, we have to use a line called system.out.println and just try to write a table. Simple. Now this whole code we have to write in some class. So I'm just writing the program name is program. We cannot write the code directly inside. As I already said, we have to write any coding inside our method form as public static method. And inside that will be execution code. So inside the main function, we have done the whole coding. Generally, we write in C languages. But the only thing new here is system.out.println. It's all the same like C language. Once you write this program, we have to save this program. So I have to save this program with the name of the class name. So what is my class name right now? Demo2.java. And I'm saving in the same location. Day1 file. So I'm saying now to compile it, we have to go to the command. So where did I save? You remember the file. But for compilation, I have to open a command prompt. And in the command prompt, we are in some other drive. So we have to choose which drive, correct drive. It's not case sensitive, you can type in small letters. And then we have to move, change our folder to CRGB. Okay? Just see that if the path is very lengthy path, instead of typing it, we can save its path. So this is the path. Copy this whole path. Copy the path of the file wherever your program is saved. Close this folder. Type same CD and paste that. Instead of typing cd slash crg, copy that location and paste it. Now we can do the directly compilation of the and once compilation is successful, we can check the folder. We have a file called as demo2.java. Now we can run this file. So to run this file, we have to use a software that is JVM operator. And we just run it. Right? Is there any confusion or any question? All of you are clear till here? Are you clear with the concept? Till here it's okay. Because from tomorrow we'll start with all concepts like data types and operators. Not many programs in that because we have to start actually with objective. So we'll be very briefly on the basic topics like C language, topics, operators, branching constructs, or loops. But I'll teach you maximum important programs. And once you finish these basic topics of your loops and everything, arrays, then we'll go with the actual concept for this objective. So any doubts still here for all of you? Is that clear to all of you as of now?